every single person needs to know that they can question their care, first of all. If they happen to be alone, that they can question everything that is given to them, meaning medication, every treatment, every consultation. They can question everything, and they deserve an answer in a way that they completely understand, because we have a tendency to do the medical speak, and the average person has no idea what we're talking about, but never once, no one wants to feel stupid. And so people just shake their head, having no idea perhaps what they're signing a consent for, or the treatment what a treatment or a test involves. That's the one thing. And the other thing is that every person needs to have an advocate, if at all possible. They need to have someone who will advocate for them, who will be there at the bedside, if at all possible, or be in communication with your care team, and pretty much question everything. And I don't mean question in a negative way, but question everything to the point where you have an answer that you're pleased with, that you totally understand.
Well, and I don't think that people understand. So I'll share with you. Last November, I had to have surgery. And I decided that if I had to have surgery, it was going down this way. And I knew that I was going to go in, and then I was going to be in the hospital for like 4 days. And I too was nervous. And I thought, okay, what's going to make me feel more comfortable? And so I told both the surgeon and the anesthesiologist, I said, okay, this is what I want. I said, I want to be wheeled into the operating room. I said, I want Don't Stop Believin' by Journey playing on the radio. I want everybody singing, and then you can put me out. And so we get on there, they're taking me down to the operating room, and my friend that works at the hospital was there, and she had Don't Stop Believin' played. So we get in there, and the anesthesiologist said, look, you just heard Don't Stop Believin'. I'm not playing that now, but I'll play you a different Journey song. And so he had to do something that he had to do for the anesthesia part. And so they were getting ready to lean me back, and he's like, okay, now I'll play your song. And they did it. They played Don't Stop Believin'. Everybody was singing. And that's the last thing I remember until I woke up in recovery. And so I don't think that, that's just one example.
I love that.
I don't think that people realize that you can, they're serving me. So if that's what I needed, now I'm not saying if, you had a 3-piece band that you wanted to come in, I'm sure there's a line that they have to draw, but there are things that you can request to make sure that you are comfortable, whatever. And that, to me, I wanted it to be, I knew if they were singing a song that everybody knew, that they were at ease, and I needed them to be at ease so that I felt at ease. Right. And so I don't think that people know that there's certainly things like that you can request. I really, it's your stay. They're there to serve you.
That's so interesting, Kim, because the other thing it does, you requesting a song and to have them sing, it makes you a person. It doesn't make you a case or a Coley or whatever the surgery would be. It makes you a real person, and it causes them to see you differently.
That's right.
That's why I always say, as a patient, to have a picture at your bedside, to have a kid's artwork, your grandchildren's artwork on them. It makes them look at you as the person that you are, instead of a room number or a case number. And so that's brilliant. Good for you. Good for you. I love that.
So tell me, how do you think that nurses and physicians are faring in the current climate, just considering the pandemic right now? Like you said early on in our interview that, they're all everybody's fearful at different levels. The nurses and the doctors are fearful for one reason, the patients are fearful for another. So how do you feel everybody's faring?
Not well. I honestly believe not well. And we throw around the term hero, and we have seemed to attach it to healthcare, though, nurses and doctors, respiratory therapists, those providing care. But I'll tell you, it is way beyond that. So most of us have had stay-at-home orders or have been quarantined, and we're doing our best to avoid this invisible threat that we, are unable to see. And they run towards it every single day. And it's just very complicated. So I can tell you, I'll just give you a little snapshot. At first, there is this thing in healthcare that's hard for non-healthcare people to understand, but it's an adrenaline thing where it's almost like exciting. Like, is this going to happen? When will we get our first case? And I know that I do a lot of consulting. So I have clients all over the country and quite a few in the Northeast. They were excited at first and so disappointed when they had their first patient come in with classic symptoms and they tested negative. And they were like, oh, here, we thought that was it. No, so this was so early on. And the next day, they went from a 15 to a 50-bed ICU, and they described it as getting hit in the face with a brick.
Wow.
And then they watched as their own died, just all of these patients lined up because you can make anything in ICU. And they watched their coworkers die, and pretty much in a state of shock for weeks. And it was, I think, indescribable for them. And many just barrel through it and feel like, I can't stop to get help. And many of them at this point who have had really, have been in the thick of it. So those in New York City, and now it's going to happen here in Florida, and it's happening in Arizona. They seriously will need trauma therapy when this is over. Wow. Seriously. And so it has been very hard. It's a complicated thing. It involves family, it involves decisions that you never thought you'd have to make. And there's just a lot of things. I had a doctor who said, I never in a million years thought when I took my Hippocratic oath that I would one day come into work and ask to be on a team who'll decide who lives and who dies. That's heavy. That's very heavy. So not well, I would say, and understandably so.
And it'll be really interesting to see how the face of healthcare changes when this is all over with because of that. Because of what people have seen on the front lines, because of what they've had to see day in and day out. It'll be really interesting to see how this changes. And so what do you think? What kind of changes do you foresee going forward in healthcare?
Whoa. Well, just like the airline industry changed radically after 9/11, I believe that healthcare will, we have so much to look at. I think one of the good things that will come out of it, and there are some really good things that will come out of it, although it's very hard to see when you're in the thick of it, is telemedicine. I think that when you look across the demographic of those who access healthcare, they were not always trusting of telemedicine. And now organizations have gone from doing very little telemedicine to almost totally telemedicine. And the fact that it's working, and there's those that will report very few visits in the emergency department. And that's because, people are accessing care somewhere. And there's so many things that can be done by telemedicine. That is one of the very, very good things that will come out of it. But I think that you'll see lots of changes, and a lot of them for the better. I think a lot of them for the better.
I think so too. I think as time goes on, like what you said, 9/11 transformed us. It wasn't fun to go through, but it certainly, it certainly transformed us as a country. So I feel like this will transform us as a system as well.
I totally agree.
So believe it or not, we are almost out of time. So tell us where we can find more information about Sweeney Healthcare Systems.
Oh, well, we have a website, Sweeney Healthcare. It's Sweeney Healthcare Enterprises.
Oh, Sweeney Healthcare Enterprises, yes.
Yes, Sweeney Healthcare Enterprises. It will pop up, or follow me on Facebook, Sweeney Healthcare and Enterprises, and that's SHE. And you can find me either place. I'm on LinkedIn. Colleen Sweeney will get you to any of those places. Luckily, I've been doing this long enough that I come up fairly easy. If you put patient fears in, pretty much my name will come up. So you can take a look at the work we're doing, our mission in India, and lots of good things. So, so there you go. I'd love to connect.
Awesome. Well, we are almost out of time. So thank you so much, Colleen, for joining us today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to speak with us.
Oh, it is such a pleasure, Kim. You know, I just think we're like best friends that only talk every once in a while, and it's an amazing thing. Thank you for everything you do.
Oh, well, thank you. If you have any questions or comments or would like to know more about the guests on our show today, feel free to contact me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org or visit our website at www.hellogorgeous.org. We invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and download our mobile app. Thank you for joining me today on Hello Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration. I'm your host, Kim Becker. Until next time, stay gorgeous.